Columbia River.
So we're back, resuming our broadcast. Apparently, it was broadcasting to most of our social sites, but anyway, here we are again.
I had a doubt.
That's all right, though. We're using a new device, so we had to make sure.
Yeah, and this is fun, right? We're hoping you have fun. We're having fun. So we'll see what goes on. All right. Anyways, so as we we're saying, Mother's Day is Sunday. We won't be brewing on Mother's Day. You know what? You can just, if you're really interested, you can just look up everything from the other 3-minute and 47-second broadcast that we just did,
right,
moments ago.
Creative.
It's creative. Right. Creative beers. That's worth restating. So creative beers, which we never document anything, and we just make beer, and it's never the same, and you never know what you're gonna. Did you ever see Burnt?
No.
It had what's the guy's name? Bradley Cooper in it. Oh. Right. This is interesting. It's not all movies have great quotes, and I'm very reticent or reluctant to give directors of movies much credit in anything because it's like that's such a great saying. It's like, yeah, he had 9 months to think up that saying. It's like great sayings really come spur of the moment.
Right.
In any case, so anyways, he's at a Burger King, right? And Burnt is about this super chef, the Michelin stars. You ever heard of the Michelin rating system? It's not tires.
No, I have not heard of that system.
Me neither until I watched this movie. And then I asked my friend Eric at work. I was like, it's something about Michelin. He's like, oh, yeah, the Michelin cooking thing. He knew all about it.
Huh.
But they give stars, but they only give 3 stars. So this is not the same as the 1-star, 2-star, 3-star, 5-star restaurant thing. It's something different. But it's Michelin, and to get 3 stars, you're amazing, right? So it's like the Oscars for cooks.
Gotcha.
I guess they'd want to be called chefs, but yeah, whatever. Anyways, you in the picture?
I'm trying to get in the picture. I realize the camera's not quite in the same orientation it was earlier.
Yeah, I kind of screwed it up. It's all right.
It's all right.
Anyway, so the point is behind this Michelin thing. That's the whole thing. So it's this fancy chef. The idea is that super fancy chef. So he calls one of his super fancy chef buddies that he wants. He's making a comeback tour. Apparently, he did drugs, hookers, alcohol, destroyed his life. Nobody loves him.
Hookers and blow.
And yes. And now he's making a comeback tour because those things will destroy you. Don't do hookers and blow. They will destroy you. So the long and the short is he calls and she's like, why are we eating Burger King? I think it was Burger King. It was a main chain. Either Burger King or McDonald's or whatever. It doesn't matter. Right. Anyways, he's like, do you know why people like this stuff? And she's like, no, I have no idea. He's like, because it's consistent. Because every time you get a McDonald's burger or a Burger King burger or a Dairy Queen burger, pick your fast food restaurant, it's going to taste like that burger.
Right.
Every time. No matter what McDonald's or Burger King you go to, it's going to taste like that burger. I have no idea where I was going with this. Beer consistency. Right. Creative. We're going to creative brewery where we never document. I like that. That's good. And it's where we never document anything and no beer ever tastes the same. And so you buy a 6-pack of our beer and you have no idea what you're getting. Let's rack. Let's rack this beer. I know, you got to go. All right, so we got to go in a little bit of a rush because Steve does have to go home. We'll adjust the camera because, hey, who cares? All right, so we left these on here, but we're going to go ahead and take these off right now. Yeah, for just a few minutes. Hey. Want to be careful because we don't want too much sunlight to get on our beer. Right. So this is the regular. This is regular
cream ale that we made 12 days ago.
Temptation Ale Kolsch style.
I keep saying cream ale. He's corrected me 3 times now. I still don't get it. You're correct. A Kolsch ale.
Thank you. Pardon. Apparently, we need to make more cream ales. Maybe he likes those.
Yes, so.
It was good, and we didn't screw that one up.
Agreed. They came out well. All right. Just removing the water lock.
Okay, and we sanitized everything like much better than before. Like we really, I'm kind of proud of myself on this one because I paid attention to all those things. Sanitization and all that fun stuff.
Wait, let me get the glasses, man.
They're right there.
Oh, I already got them. Oh.
Not only did I get the glasses, but this $9 a gallon water to rinse the glasses when we're done.
Not creative.
I'm not the one who bought the water. All right? I'm good with going to the machine and getting the water from there. All right.
Now, we use these little snippers to taste our beers whenever we transfer them before they go into keg, a secondary, whatever the case may be. We like to take a little taste test.
Right. Because it's going to be flat, so it's not going to be like beer that you get out of a non-creative macro brew, but at the same time, you can still get a taste and maybe find out if your beer is infected or not.
Exactly. It gives us an opportunity just to see exactly how it comes out. Because what we taste now is indicative of what we're going to taste in the end, minus carbonation and all that, of course.
But I can tell you straight up, this is not infected. I can just look at that and say,
that's a good. What is all that foamy stuff on top called? You remember?
Krausen.
Krausen, yeah. German word.
Krausen. Which we didn't fix. Oh, okay. So this is the tricky part. Actually, it's not such a big deal because we're outside, and so go ahead. About right?
Yeah, I mean, yes, we're good.
And stop making fun of the Germans now.
Germany is our friend.
So, interesting thing. Tell them why we put the tube all the way in the bottom of the thing.
Well, you want the tube to go all the way to the bottom of your carboy so that you don't aerate your wort.
Oxygenate.
Right. Same.
Well, yeah,
aerate,
but
oxygen. Yeah, you
but
don't want
oxygen is the big part.
Yeah, you don't want to oxidize your wort, so you let it go from the bottom up. That way it doesn't get full of bubbles and just oxygen, because that's going to affect the flavor of the beer later.
So, produce off flavors. Am I in the camera? Off flavors, which is the great brewery industry term that means nothing. Off flavors. It's like, what the heck does that mean?
It's ambiguous.
It's off. It's off.
It's off.
It's not on.
Functionality. This data.
Oh, and now the software engineer comes out. All
right, man.
Okay, well, so does this one smell kind of citrusy to you, anyways? What do you think?
In the slightest sense, yeah.
Well, yeah, no, it doesn't smell like orange juice or anything.
No. It does kind of have a sweeter smell to it, but not like a sulfury smell or anything.
No, man, this smells really good, but it just,
right.
That's one of the that's one of the reasons that I'm gonna claim it. I chose the Kolsch as the base for this experiment because it's like I think the citra hops are gonna go well with this anyway.
Oh, yes.
We're gonna find out in just a couple minutes here.
So this is the regular Kolsch, just as we followed the recipe as best we could. So we'll see how it goes.
Oh, we did a good job, man. I mean, we were really careful. We didn't boil over the wort, something we're famous for.
That's good. That's good.
We actually haven't boiled over wort in a while, which is nice because we didn't have to mop your garage floor.
I know, right? Ready?
Yeah, man.
It's like Kolsch.
It does.
It tastes a lot like what we were drinking earlier. Just a little foggy and not carbonated.
What? Which one earlier?
The
Kolsch from the house.
This is the one I brought from the house.
That's right, because we have one in the keg.
We brewed a Kolsch about 6 weeks ago, and it's been kegged and carbonated, and we've both been enjoying it. So
it's going to be a long month of brewing beer for me, or buying beer for me.
Yeah, definitely not infected, which is obviously what we were trying to achieve.
No, this is good.
Good flavor. It tastes just like the Kolsch as I think it was intended. So.
Oh yeah, man.
That's good.
I am pleased. We are pleased with ourselves. Which doesn't say much because we're always pleased.
Slight bit of sweetness to it, so, but it's not meant to be a strong beer. So, I think a lot of the yeast,
4.5, maybe 5% if you really manage to get your yeast kicking.
We got to watch this because once it gets down near the bottom, you probably can't see it with the camera. But there's about an inch of trub at the bottom there. We don't want that to get sucked through.
We'll fix it. All right, we can do things here. Oh, man, would you find that little plastic piece? All right, we're flying. Here we are flying. It's black.
That's not going to help me.
Yeah. All right, well, while he looks for that,
I'm going to find him and step on it on accident.
Right there. You see kind of the bottom of that carboy there. There's all that sludge in the bottom. And the official industry term for this is called trub. And so that's the stuff we're trying to avoid putting into our secondary fermenter, and then ultimately when we put it in the keg. So, avoiding the trub. Don't want extra trub in our final beer. All right. Did you find it?
I did not.
You did not find it. That's a bummer.
It's probably rolled or skittered.
All right, we're going to put that back up there.
For, anyway?
It's one of these little plastic rubber.
Oh. Yeah, I didn't see
it. Talk to the camera while I find this thing.
It happens. We're all human, right? We drop things fall. So
keep talking.
But as you can see, I mean, it happens pretty quick, so it doesn't take too long to transfer your wort from your primary to your secondary. As soon as it's done, we'll throw a water lock on it, just like if it was a typical, fermentation, and we'll move on to the next one, which is the Citra hops, which we have no idea what this is going to taste like.
That's right. This is the new adventure. Where the heck did that thing go?
It could be infected, or it could taste really good, or it could taste terrible. Not because it's infected, but because the hops just didn't really work with that, with the schedule of the original recipe. So
I am really confident that it's going to be good, though. I really am. I'm very confident.
It's like these guys are just losing it.
We are losing it.
I think it's going to taste just fine. If anything, it's going to be a little more hoppy, kind of like a pale ale, but it won't really taste like a full-on pale ale. It'll just be a little more hoppy than what a Kolsch is supposed to taste like.
Yeah, it's going
to me, Kolsch's are more of a malty kind of ale.
Right? Aha! I found it.
You found it.
There you go.
Creative.
that was great. That was perfect. Oh, come on here. All right, there.
Don't drop the camera.
Oh no, this is one of
sacrifice the body.
Okay,
I gotta watch the time. I got somewhere to be.
You're gonna be late. You'll have to be late. Just have to taste the last beer.
Yeah, we always tip it a little bit to try to salvage as much of the wort as possible.
There are some people that don't do that.
Some people don't do that, yeah, because you do take a risk of introducing a little extra trub into your secondary if you do this. But
it's more than a risk. It's gonna happen.
If you do it carefully and just not shake it up, you can probably be okay with tilting it.
It depends. What do you want? More beer or less clear beer?
Because the bottom of the siphon has about an inch, like a little kind of, not really a plug, but just a little spacer, if you want to call that, separates the siphon from the trub. And because it's sitting on top of the trub, any beer that's below that level is not going to go in there. But in this case, we tilt it carefully to try to get as much of the beer as possible.
We're definitely getting trub in here. I can see it flowing down there. All right, that's good.
I call it, it's all right. But that's why we do secondary. Oh, yeah, look at that mud. We got mud in that one.
That's all right.
It's fine. It's going to settle just like it did in the primary. And when we move it into the keg, it may or may not have some of that left. Who knows? It doesn't really matter.
Well, this is so much nicer than working in the kitchen.
It's not going to hurt you. It's not going to hurt you. It's high in protein. If anything, it might give you a little gas.
There's no might about it, by the way, as someone who's drinking trub just because.
Yeah, we both took a couple mouthfuls of trub on the IPA one time.
Yeah, I definitely chased myself out of my own car the next day. Ooh. It was pretty amazing.
All right, here we go, folks. This is the Citra version.
So everything was the same. We did everything the same. We brewed it the same. We chilled the same. We offset by 15 minutes just to kind of get things. Yeah, that'll be fine. Ooh, that was muddy.
So I think it was the leftover residual mud from the last one. All right, let's get these glasses ready.
So it sat for about 12 days at 60 degrees. $9 a gallon to rinse a glass.
Jamie and his nobility water.
My wife's. Same reason we're not brewing on Sunday.
Happy wife, happy life.
Mm-hmm. Little palate cleanser. Right. I feel so snooty when I say that.
I know, right? How pinky it, how it can.
But it makes sense.
Mm-hmm. All right, it's not wine. Let's do this.
All right, you're right. Here, we take the glasses. And straight down. And still.
Wow, I am pretty good sometimes with getting these things.
You are. That's a skill.
There you go, sir. All right.
All right. So, Citra hops at minute 0.
Dude,
So, if
smell that.
wow.
Definitely smell the citrus in it.
So this one's like orange juice. Orange juice beer? Nice.
There we go, folks.
Anything?
Any comments? No?
I don't know.
We have the sunrise as we do this, yeah, because we're so professional. So.
Oh, wait. Yeah, we got the sun. Jeffrey.
Hey, Jeffrey.
Jeffrey giggles. He says, having trouble? Have a homebrew.
Exactly. Yes, sir.
Dude, I love it. That's great.
Relax. Have a
Yeah,
homebrew.
relax. Have a homebrew.
Right.
No, that smells
That
really
smells
good. All right, so taste. So, I guess there's really not much more to say. Really, just let's taste this.
Let's taste it. Definitely a different flavor.
Oh yes, not the same at all.
Not the same. The attack isn't there, but I taste an after flavor with the citrus, a little bit of citrus in it. You know, it smells more citrusy than it tastes, to me at least.
Yeah, but you know that's part of it. And of course, these snifters. Apparently, there is this.
Son of my eyes.
Oh man, we all.
I know, right, man? But you know what? It gives you a good indication of what you're going to get.
Flat beer is always weird. Yeah, you are right. That's right. So that's the thing, is that the final taste test. Jeffrey's actually there. You're actually watching. Yes, dude.
Thanks, man.
Dude, we got a dude that's actually watching. Yes. We feel good about ourselves. Thank you. You have made us feel better about ourselves. But you're absolutely right. So this just kind of it lets us know how it tastes different from the normal. So this was our base and this was our experiment.
Right.
But it ain't gonna taste right until we actually get to the carbonated when it's carbonated and ready to go.
Are you a brewer, Jeffrey?
No, he said he's a brewer. Oh, you're a home brewer.
Oh, sweet.
Nice.
So you know exactly what we're talking about.
Yeah, so we're like talking down to him, and he probably knows more than
He's
we
probably
know.
like shaking his head like, you guys really?
It's like, really? It's like, we know these things. Why are you talking? But, you know, not everyone knows, Jeffrey.
No, I think we did okay with this, slight alteration to the recipe.
Yeah, so in case you missed some of the earlier stuff, right? So we've been brewing for what we'd say like about 6 months. We've been broadcasting. We've been brewing for quite a while, off and on, and then we're both military, and so life took us apart, and then it brought us back together. And now we're both retired. We're doing good. And the big thing is, at this point, now we're starting to play. So we got, we have all the recipes. We do extract brewing. We haven't done all grain yet. We are going to do all grain at some point, but first let's play around and just figure out.
Yeah, we do grain steeping, but just our extracts are in a bottle or jar or whatever.
Yeah,
like syrup, as you well know.
Molasses.
Yeah.
Yes, which we found out if you warm it up before you pour it, it's very nice. Yeah. If you leave it cold. So in any case, what was I saying? In any case, so what we're doing now is we're starting to play around with recipes. We went to our local brew supply place. We should probably put a water lock in that. Yeah. The water locks, the sanitized water locks are inside. Yeah, you want to run inside?
Yeah, I'll get
grab one.
I'll get them.
So we started with a recipe that we've brewed before that we like, and it was really good. I gotta watch that. And so what we did is we added Citra hops at minute 0. You bottle? All right, we keg. Why do you bottle? Why do you prefer bottling, or are there advantages to bottling that you like? We'd love to hear about that. That'd be cool. I'm gonna have to in a minute here. We were just talking about how, some folks. So, Jeffrey Bottles.
Oh, okay. Yeah, we want to do that. We just haven't got around to it yet. We do definitely want to try that.
Yeah. The one thing that. So I'll tell you why I like kegs. What? Oh, man.
I know it's hard.
This bottling is cheap and easy to give away. You keg? Yes,
that is definitely true.
You keg. And the reason we keg, or the reason I keg, at least, I really chose a really bad angle. I mean, the sun is in my eyes every time I try and see what he says. So the reason I keg is because sometimes when it's 11 o'clock at night and you're not quite ready for bed and you want a little more beer, you don't want 12 ounces of beer. You want this much beer. You can't do that with a bottle, but with a keg, you can. You can do an ounce of beer, a shot. You can do a shot of beer. Why you do a shot of beer, I don't know, but that's one of the reasons. Also, I don't know. You really think kegging is cheaper? You think bottling is cheaper? Because once we get the kegs, I mean, the initial outlay for the kegs is like $80, at least up here.
I imagine he probably saves bottles and reuses them, which would make it cheap.
That's true, but you still got to buy the bottle caps. I never have had 2 ounces of beer. Well,
He's got a good point there.
You do it. You have a point, sir. You have a good point. But
all right, man. We are siphoned.
But you collect his own bottles. Can caps are super cheap.
I'm gonna get the other lock and then I gotta roll, bro.
All right. Hey, so Jeff, thank you very much for stopping by. This really was, so we usually broadcast every other Sunday. This Sunday coming up would have been our next broadcast, but it's Mother's Day. We're both married. Yeah, that's the truth. That's the truth. You can cheat with the carbonation on kegs. So, I mean, you can cheat with the carbonation on Craig's. Hey, thank you very much for subscribing. Really appreciate it, man. This has been a lot of fun. We're just having fun with it, but, it makes it more fun. Makes it more fun when people respond. Like, this has been one of the most successful broadcasts yet, aside from the first one.
And it was kind of just ad hoc because normally it's every 2 Sundays. So
yeah, but anyhow, yeah. So it's like he was saying the speed of carbonation is nice for the kegs.
Oh, right.
And that's absolutely true. So when we keg, we hit it up with like 30, 35 psi for about 2 days, back it off to like serving pressure, and yeah, you can drink within a week. It's not really super good until about 2 weeks. Sam Smith Oatmeal Stout Clone. Ooh.
All right, we are good to go.
He likes stouts.
Good. Stouts. Yeah, we do too.
So do you document? That's one of our failings. Is we have not been good at documenting, which is why we were on the whole. If you saw some of the earlier part of the broadcast, the whole creative. Go ahead, say it. Creative. That's kind of creepy, actually, but I love it.
He does document. So he's probably got a lot more experience than we do, and that's good, though.
Yeah, so that's one thing we were careful with this batch. We documented. Like, it was 12 days in the fermenter. It was 60 to 64 degrees the entire time. Kept the temperature very steady. We know exactly the recipe that we used and when we pitched what and when we threw what, when we added the hops. Because we really want to know, how this citra hops changes the flavor of the beer.
I think it came out good. I like that one better than the original, personally.
Yeah. He keeps copy the recipe from a book and take notes on it.
Right.
Yep. And that's where we're going next. I mean, I think, we've got we're going to make a Newcastle clone at some point here just because my wife loves Newcastle beer and I'm tired of paying $50 for a case of beer every 2 weeks.
Right.
Or less. So we're going to make a Newcastle clone.
Oh, we didn't lager.
No, we're not. We didn't lager. We didn't. No. That is the primary.
We're just doing ales, centered ales.
Just done the primary fermentation. So 60 to 64 degrees. That was the zone that it sat in the whole time. There's a room down in my basement that I was able to keep right around that temperature. And so next we're gonna put it right back in that room. So it's gonna sit right around that. Because up where we're at in the Pacific Northwest. Yeah, but the yeast range was like 62 to 72 degrees.
Right. Yeah, I got to run. Sorry to cut it short. I got
right.
somewhere to be here soon. But Jeffrey, excuse me. Thank you for talking with us, man. Jamie, hope you guys have a good conversation, and we'll see you probably next Sunday if we brew next Sunday.
You want to? So if we brew next Sunday, we're switching the whole thing up, or we could like skip. We could call this.
You want to do it? Okay.
Let's skip next Sunday and stuff.
And then just keep the schedule?
Yeah,
okay.
We'll keep on the same schedule that we're going.
Cool. All right, take care, Jeffrey. Thanks for talking with us, man.
All right.
Dude, I'll see you. I won't probably not tomorrow, but we'll talk soon.
There's AWBs to drink, dude. I can drop by. All right. Hey, it was good to meet you. Thank you very much for subscribing. Thanks for stopping by. Thanks for chatting. Explain what you mean by pitch back onto your yeast. What we do is we cool down. We cool it down to like below 80, and so then we pour our wort into the. We do pretty much the way they say to do it. Pour back into the pour the cold water into your primary fermenter, and then pour your wort into that. So we probably pitch our yeast. Well, I know for a fact that we pitch our yeast into 70. It was 70 degrees for both of these. That's what wort was. What do you mean by pitch back? Like I said, we're just having fun broadcasting, so we're still learning a lot of things. There's a lot of things that you can just read the book and do what you're supposed to do. Yeah, this is going to be good. Of course, he leaves. Oh, you know what? I've read about that. No, not yet. One step at a time. One step at a time. For one thing, we don't have a wort ready to go right now. We pretty much do a full batch every 2 weeks and then go from there. So, yeah, we don't have anything ready to go this time around. And I'd need to read up more on that. But yeah, I've heard exactly. I have heard about doing that. So the answer to your first question is no. We don't pitch back onto our yeast. When you empty your fermenter, you can pour a new wort onto your yeast, so you have a huge yeast culture for the second batch. So does that? Oh yeah, we actually had that happen. We had a really really high fermentable. It was kind of a clone of the Roquefort 8 from the Trappist monks one, and it just had lots of fermentables in it. And we used a double batch of yeast, and it went right out through the airlock. It was just oozing everywhere. Turned out all right. We got lucky. I just kept an eye on it and kept swapping out airlocks, basically. Sanitize an airlock and swap it out and put it on there. And it turned out all right. But, yeah. Doesn't that change the flavor? I mean, because you're also dealing with all the trub that's in the bottom, aren't you? I'm going to have to read up on this. And I'll tell you who's really going to read up on this when I tell him about it is Steve. Because Steve is really that cat reads. Of the two of us, I'm the broadcaster, but he is the brewer. I'm just along for the ride. You need to do the same yeast type. Got you. But if you do your specialty grains and all that fun stuff, it won't change it that much. Ideally, too, yes. Okay, so that makes sense. Right? And that's one thing. One of the things that we've been doing as we go along is we have not brewed the same batch of beer, the same type of beer, 1 week to the next at all yet. And we've gone from stouts to porters to like this. This is based off of our brew supply place calls it Temptation Ale. Right. I got you. I understand exactly what you mean. Yeah. So we haven't like the next batch we're doing is going to be a Newcastle Ale, which I read that a true Newcastle Ale is actually blended beers. So this is going to be a clone, and it's going to get close, but it's not going to be an exact Newcastle ale. But as long as it tastes good enough, my wife will like it, and that's really the most important part. Yeah, the thing is, we doing 5-gallon batches 2 weeks at a time is pretty much. I can drink like in my house. So obviously Steve lives somewhere else. Um, we could do about. I can drink 5 gallons of beer in 2 weeks between me and my wife, and then when Steve comes over, or I go over there, and we have Friday nights where maybe we drink a little more than normal. But brewing much more than that, clone beers and brews captured. I'll have to look those up. In fact, I'll even take a note. I can do that because I have this amazing phone that I never use. Let's see here. Out of there. There. New note. What was that? Clone beers and brews captured. All right. Cool. I got that. We'll look those up later. All right. Well, hey. Um. Oops. That is pretty much pure HTML. Sazama Tolsky. Wow, that's quite the name. Put that in there. That's SZAMA Sazama Tulski. Yeah, that looked Polish to me. My grandfather was Polish, full Polish, so I got a little bit of that bloodline going on there. I think my grandmother was Irish and German, and so yeah, but yeah, I actually he was I think he podcast. We were like I said, Mother's Day is coming. Every page is a clone beer recipe. Great place to start. Oh yes, we're gonna look into that. I guarantee you will hear about that book in upcoming broadcasts. Um, anyhow, I gotta go because I gotta clean up, and it's what time is it? It's like 7:03. My kiddo still has to eat, so I gotta make supper, and I gotta clean up this mess. And apparently, my father just called. Yes, I've been there. Um, I do. We bounce around. To be honest, so far we've been using actually our local brewer supply, Northwest Brew Supply. I think that's what they're called. I really should look them up. Um, but so we've been talking with them live, and they're like, "Here, try this recipe," because they have a whole bunch of kits. But like I said, we kind of got a feel for it. We got our feet back under us from kind of having a hiatus, and oh yeah, and these guys are great. And you get all sorts of good things. You get the feel goods from supporting a local business. You may need yeast on the fly. Oh yes, yeah. Oh, we had a disaster with yeast. Steve, the guy that just left, um, he may or may not have left the yeast on a baseboard heater. And so when we went to get it, it was sitting at a nice, balmy 120 degrees. Yeah, a little bit warm. So, yeah, that was. And then when we went to buy more yeast, the brew supplier that was closest to us, the yeast was expired. It was like 18 months old. We pitched it. It didn't even kick off for like 3 days. So it just sat there. I was like, oh, this is a drain pour. But then it kicked off and it finally worked. And we have no idea what that beer was. It's still in the keg. It doesn't taste horrible. It's drinkable, definitely sweet. Yeah, that's what we use mainly. I mean, is those Y yeast slap packs. That's the other thing we're going to experiment with in a little bit. So this time around, we experimented with hops, but the next experiment I want to play with is yeast because I really have no idea how using different yeasts can affect the flavor of a beer. And I'm kind of excited to do that because I think it'll be really fun. You know, because it's like one thing to do a recipe and it's like, oh, that's great. But then to know what your change will do, that is really awesome because then you can say, like, I'm going to take this recipe and I'm going to add this yeast instead of this yeast. And I already know that it's going to change my beer in this direction. And that is really cool. So, anyways, there is a lifetime of learning with brewing beer. Yes, exactly. And so there's so many things. All right, hey Jeffrey, thank you very much for stopping by. Seriously, it's really cool. It's great that you're conversating. That's I don't know if that's a real word. You know, really do appreciate it. Appreciate you subscribing. Check back in. Usually we're on Sunday afternoons, Pacific Standard Time, between 3 and 4, depending on how fast things go. Uh, we're always disorganized, but we have a lot of fun doing this. So, anyways, take care of yourself. I think I'm going to go ahead and end this broadcast. I got to call my dad. Oh, look, now my mother's calling. They're wondering why I'm ignoring them. All right. Hey, take care. And, you know, usually we end this with something, but yeah, relax. Have a homebrew.